October 2nd, 2017. My name is Bill McCamley. I'm a state representative from Las Cruces and Mesilla here in New Mexico. This is your legislative update for the day. I had three things I want to talk to you about today. The first is Real ID. So this was a process created by the federal government after September 11th to make sure that when you use an identification card, there are some checks that go through so that you are who you say and your card says you are. This was implemented last year here in New Mexico as part of a deal between the legislature and the governor regarding undocumented folks getting driver's licenses or now driver's cards. And the deal was that if you're undocumented, you can get one of these driver's cards, and anyone can get one. But if you want a Real ID compliant card, you can go through that process. The issue there has been there's been a lot of constituents of mine and a whole bunch of other people in the past 2 or 3 months that have been expressing a lot of concerns with the motor vehicle department here in the state. I'll give you some examples. There's been issues with, I've had a letter spelled wrong in my marriage certificate, and I've had this thing for years, and they won't accept it when I go to get Real ID. I'm a foreign-born citizen with a naturalization certificate that has like a different numbering system that they don't know what to do with. Name issues. So I'm married and I changed my name. Maybe I didn't keep all the documents, or issues with the Social Security office. So I've had people say, they need to get new Social Security information. They go to the Social Security office, they give them temporary documentation, they take them back to the MVD, and they still can't get their driver's licenses. So I have contacted the motor vehicle department at the state to see what's being done about this, see if we can do anything, if we have to work with our federal delegation. But people need to be able to get these identification cards and be able to drive, and so that's going to be an issue. I've also heard that there are a lack of resources at those offices to take care of people when they come in, and that's a much bigger issue when we have state budget problems, when we cut taxes on those at the top, when it doesn't create jobs and oil and gas prices drop. This is one of those things. I want to talk a little bit about the Children's Health Insurance Program. This was created in the late 90s to work with states in making sure all kids, no matter their income level, get access to doctors, dentists, and medicine. Most of the kids that qualify for this here in New Mexico, their parents just make a little bit too much to qualify for Medicaid, but they're still having trouble affording insurance. So there's about 15,000 kids here in New Mexico that get this program so they can get good health insurance, so that they get the health care that they need when they're young, and a lot of times that really helps you down the road, not to mention at the time. Congress failed this week to pass an extension for that, which means by the middle of next summer, all the money will be gone, and that means in our budget situation here in New Mexico, we don't have the money to make up for that at the state level. I just went through the fact that we had a huge budget deficit, and when that happens, either a bunch of kids will lose their health insurance, or there will just be less resources per kid. So maybe you can't go to the dentist, or maybe you can't afford this medicine, and this sort of thing shouldn't happen. And I'll be contacting my representatives, and I ask you to do so as well, your reps and senators, asking them to get this passed. This is something everybody agrees on. I think Orrin Hatch and Ted Kennedy were the two co-signers on this. They're a very conservative and a very liberal that got this done, so we should do this. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about what happened last night. I heard it this morning of the mass shooting in Las Vegas. It is now the largest mass murder in American history from one person. Unfortunately, Lisa Romero, who was a high school secretary from Gallup, was one of the victims, and it sucks when these things happen. It's really hits home when one of your own is involved and a victim of one of these. And you can say thoughts and prayers, but like many have said before, sometimes thoughts and prayers are not enough. And we've got to start doing something about these shootings. I'll give you a couple examples. Understanding here in the West, we have a relationship with firearms, right? It's a big deal, and a lot of people are definitional. They view them as part of who they are. Doing things like background checks, well, which we do already at stores, but don't do at gun shows or online. We tried to get this done last year, and it was met with this fury of opposition. I don't understand why that's so bad. Allowing for sales of things like conversion kits so that your semi-automatic rifle can now become an automatic, even though having an automatic rifle is illegal. I don't understand the total want from some people to not make that law. These things make sense. And furthermore, we need to do more for our mental health situation here in the state. I don't know if there was a mental health issue with this guy in Vegas or not, but I do know with that guy that shot Gabby Giffords in Arizona last year, that was an issue. And when we don't fund mental health because it's hard, or the governor screws up the entire process for a reason that none of us has figured out yet, and people can't get mental health counseling and resources they need, it makes these sort of things a lot more common, and we need to fight that, and we can at the state level. So that's the update for the day. As always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, and these are any of the issues, I'd love to hear from you, and hope everyone's having a great day. Bye.